Today, I'm going to be talking about how to systematize your construction company. It's something a lot of contractors, have a bit of difficulty with. You're busy with estimates and clients and employees, and you build up a business, you're busy, things are going a bit crazy, and now you need to start putting in systems in place, put processes so that things can start to work without you. That's what you want. You want a business that can work without your constant attention. So my name is Derek Isaac. I'm a small business systems coach, specifically for contractors and construction companies. And I'm going to be sharing with you today how to systematize your business. Okay, so jumping into how to systematize your construction company. So a lot of benefits to implementing processes, more time to focus on higher level activities, more consistency in your business. Your company is going to be worth more. You're going to be able to sell it at some point if you have good systems. The big thing, having time for your family, right? Not having to work those weekends. So I'm going to be helping you with that. And the first thing I'm going to be talking about is SOPs. So standard operating procedures, those binders of like documentation that, everybody doesn't enjoy, but are so essential. And we're not talking about making huge documents here. Simple, straightforward, easy to use is what you want. So what makes a good SOP, a standard operating procedure, and why should we make them in the first place? So you're going to be delegating, right? You need to delegate tasks to other people in your business because you need to free up your time to work on other parts of your business, whether that's making big sales or working on actually implementing systems and making systems, all those higher level activities of being an entrepreneur and a manager instead of a technician. So what makes a good SOP? It's got to be clear, right? Easy to understand. It's kind of a given, but very essential. How can you say something in a shorter amount of time, make it more clear? Sometimes these can get very convoluted. Next up, informative yet not overwhelming. So same thing. You want to get your point across. You want them to understand what they need to do from the document, but not to a point where it's overwhelming, right? You don't want that thick binder of stuff that no one's going to read. You want like quick list, a couple of little paragraphs just explaining what needs to be explained. Compact, structured, yet not rigid. So I was talking to a painter a little while ago, and he was explaining how he implemented a procedure for his painters, exactly what to do, right? Procedure, like do this, then do that, open the paint, mix it before you open it, get your tools ready, your paintbrush and everything, right? I'm not a painter, but I've worked with a lot of painters. And so he had this procedure. He gave it to his guys, and one of his guys was a franchise worker, and he followed everything to the T, but he made an idiot mistake, like multiple idiot mistakes. And he's like, he'd been painting for a while. It's not like he was, a greenhorn or anything. And he said, I give up. Like I tried to implement a procedure, and it's just like the guys either they don't follow it or they follow it too close. I don't know what to do. So you don't want it to be too rigid where it's like do exactly all these steps. You want like big chunks. Like what are the main things? Like, get your stuff ready, then mask off, the walls, then cut in the corners, then roll the wall. So like big parts, but not to so specific that, situations might change and they're not really using their head because they're just used to following procedures. So structured, but not like so rigid. Written for the employee's benefit. So this is a big one, especially when you're communicating it to the employee. You want to write it for them and explain like this is going to help you save time. This is going to make things more easy. This is going to give us consistency. It's going to make your job easier. So write it for them. And you want to make sure that it has like a simple purpose and objective before you start writing. Very key. Before you start making a procedure or start putting a system into your business, ask yourself like, why am I doing this, right? Is it to eliminate oversights? Is it to create efficiency, create better communication? So go through like, what are the top things that I want to accomplish like before implementing the system so that when you create it, you know the reason why you're creating it. And the last one here, supports your people. It's not controlling, right? You don't want like a policing document that's like, don't do this, don't do that. It needs to support people, not try to control them. Nobody wants to be a robot, right? So those are the keys. If you make a system like this with this in mind, you'll be far ahead in getting that system into your business, whether that's onboarding procedure, hiring documents, Employee handbooks is a great system to have, different employee management type systems. So keep this in mind. So last part here, we're going to go through this and SOP implementation. So you've created the document, you created the system for your business. Now you need to, implement it. So there's a 3-step process. First you do, so generally you know how to do whatever it is you do, whether you're, a plumber, electrician, tile setter, maybe you're a general contractor, but you know how to, do all the different parts of your business as far as like managing on site. Now you're hiring a manager to do it. So whatever you've done, you document it, document what you've done, simple format, and then you want to delegate it. So that's the process. And then for implementation, you want to write out the reason and benefit of the SOP. So we kind of did this before, and you should already know this, but the reason that you write it out is the benefit so that when you're communicating it to your employee, to your manager, you're going to be able to get buy-in from them. You want them to own the system. You want them to use the system, not just like, here, the boss gave it to me, I'm going to follow it because he gives me my paycheck every month and I don't want to piss him off. But there's no real reason for them to really want to use it or to go through it with it, right? So if you give them the reasons and benefits, like this is going to make their job easier, this is going to, help you so I don't yell at you at the end of the month when the client's angry or whatever, but make it so that they understand the reason you're implementing it. A lot of old timers or people in your business who've done things the old way for so long, they don't want to change. So you have to give them a good reason to do that. And then the biggest key, one big takeaway from implementation is go through the SOP with your employees. So this is even why you're creating it, just like the first time, I'm creating this SOP, this is what I want, this can be the benefits. I want your feedback. Does this make sense? Is this practical? In my head, I thought about it and it makes sense. This is what I want you to do, but can you actually get this done? So you want to ask them about, their thoughts on it. Again, get their buy-in, help them to help you create the system. I remember creating an awesome system for my guys. It was a productivity, kind of spreadsheet I wanted them to fill out. So I knew how long they were taking on different aspects of renovation. So if I had estimated 10 hours to, rip out the kitchen and floor and gut a wall, how long does it actually take my crew? Is 10 hours sufficient? Have they gone over? Have they gone under? So I gave my guy, my foreman, that and explained everything to him. I thought it was going to be beautiful. I thought it was going to be amazing. I was now going to have great data to make better estimates in the future, and also know my my profitability on projects. I came back to the site a week later, and I was like, oh, half of it was filled out. There's coffee stains on it. It was crumpled. It was not used properly. Half the data wasn't in there. I had people's names and things weren't filled out correctly. So we ended up scrapping about half of it, talking with the guys, figuring it out. It took a little while, but we got something that worked. And if I would have maybe asked them sooner and got their buy-in and asked them let's start simple and then build from there instead of building this big system and trying to, dump it on them. So review regularly as well. So same thing, if you're not checking on it or have someone who's checking on that people are using this system, it's just going to get thrown around and tossed out the window, right? So you need to review it regularly, make sure the guys are using it properly and that, it's being filled out or taken into account or whatever kind of system you got. And then how will you track regular use and improvement? So is there a system for tracking, right? You need to have a system to manage the system sometimes. It gets a little bit high level, but, is it, you have a weekly toolbox talk to check that, it's being used, or do they need to fill out something? Need to send you an email? What is it? And then depending on the length of your business and maybe the size or how long you've implemented the system, but you should have scheduled times where you review and improve your operating procedures, your system. So maybe every 6 months or 3 months or 1 year, at least once per year, you should be going over your documents, make sure they're updated, make sure they're still being used and are used in the right way. So this is another big key here, is easily accessible in one place. Your documents need to be accessible in one place. guys don't want to go be searching around. I've seen a lot of companies where they have like some doc they've downloaded, they got another one that they photocopy, they've got a binder for their safety, they've got, some online program for their documents and this and that. And like, guys are lazy, right? They don't want to go looking around. If it's hard to access things or they don't know where it is, they won't, right? So have like one place, one program, one specific, type of format, so everything is consistent, and it'll make the just like people accept the systems and they'll know where to get it much more easier. So this is like a brief overview. This is part of a much larger presentation, but hope this should get you well on your way to starting to make a system in your business, start implementing. This is so critical in business, especially construction businesses. If the business has been built from you and your hard work, you are now supporting the entire business. It's going to break your back when you start to scale. You can only grow so big. If you create a system, like a foundation of systems, now you can scale your sales, you can scale your hiring, you can scale your marketing. Your business can grow off of that base of systems in place because you have that system. Now you're just feeding it, right, and growing from there. But if everything relies on you, you're going to get worn out and you get overloaded. I've been through that. I grew my business, tripled revenues in 1 year, and I was a mess, like stressed out, tons of clients, tons of business. It was, awesome. There's lots of money coming in, but where that money went and how things were operating, it was just like, running around like crazy. And I came to realization. I broke down. I was like, okay, I need to get more serious about actually putting systems in place, because like I can't go on like this, right? And then, it took me a couple of years, but I got to a point where things were running smoothly. I had amazing systems for hiring, managing, sales, marketing, all that stuff. And it was a beautiful thing. So that's why I help construction companies. I know the struggle. I know the issues that come up with, guys not showing up, to clients getting angry because, some little thing got wrong. So if you need help, by all means, contact me. Check out the description. There's, free stuff in there, as well as ways to connect with me, a Facebook group, and all kinds of awesome